Let's talk about the plan for today. So meaningful information from the parameters. This is indeed the definition of sensor. So what is a sensor? It's a more meaningful information that we get from your device. Originally, we get it as a parameter, and you may ask what the parameter is, and we'll talk about it in a second. Our agenda is, first, a step for you, as a first recommendation from Gurtam to our partners, is learn your device and learn the parameters description. So this is the first topic we talk about. Second topic is how to create a sensor. A very simple steps. So we'll create hopefully 6 sensors today. Okay. And the third step is copy sensors to other units, because we're creating the sensors for one and only one unit, but you may have hundreds of them. So it's also important to learn how to copy sensor to other units. Hope you're ready to start. So first topic, learn your device parameters description. And there will be a lot of text on this slide in a second. So before you see this text, let me get back to the very bottom of this slide, which says, as a result, you should have a list of parameters you want to use for sensors creation. So this is our goal, okay? And how to reach this goal, we need to learn, first of all, what data, what parameters or what data is currently forwarded from your device. So you need to learn the meaning of such data, and it's the same thing as learning the meaning of each parameter that is currently reported. What we need to do for it, we need to check the device page, okay? And if there is still some confusion after you checking the device page and also checking your device, then we would need to contact hardware at gurtam.com or contact support of your device manufacturer. We'll talk about first topic in a second. I'll show you how exactly to do it. But the second question here, the second question that should help you to reach the goal, to get the list of the parameters you want to use for sensors. So a second question you ask is, what data can be forwarded from your device? It's not forwarded now, but what data can be forwarded? And you're learning the meaning of such data, learning the meaning of each parameter again. In this case, you're paying attention to absolutely each parameter, and you decide, do you really need it or not? And if you need it, but it's not currently reported from your device, then you're changing the device configuration. And if you're unsure how exactly to do it, again, contacting the support of the device manufacturer, or also asking assistance by contacting hardware at gurtam.com, our hardware department. Okay, so let's go to the first question. What data is currently forwarded from your device? So we need to use some device here in order to visit the device page. Okay. So how do we do that? First webinar we talked about it. You visit our website gurtam.com, then you go to the hardware, you open GPS hardware tab, and you search your device. Now there are more than 1,200 models of devices integrated, and right now we just need to use one of the devices for the demo. And to have a good variety of sensors, this time we decide to use an OBD device, exactly Xirgo 2060. Okay. Again, there are multiple OBD devices, so it's just a demo device that we feel convenient to use. Okay, this device is pretty active on our demo account, and we found the device page. The next step, we open parameters tab. And remember the first question I asked, like, what data is currently forwarded from that device? All the data that is forwarded from this device is forwarded in parameters. This is the language that we use to show the data. We are getting the data from the device and some specific language that relates to that device only, and then we pass this data and we use these parameters to make this raw data a little bit more meaningful. It's still, when you look at this ACC, you are not sure what ACC means, but this is how we show it originally, and we show the description of that parameter. Also, if you look at the protocol of this device, you will also have a pretty good hint of what each parameter means. So it's not only on our device page. We are not making it up. We're all getting it from the protocol of the device. So this is very important, to learn the device that you're using. And each device is capable to send some specific data. OBD devices are somewhat similar to each other, so if you use OBD, then you may find some similarities with this device, okay? But I saw the question, and the question was, do we have the same data sent by every device? No, it's not the same, okay? And the parameters names will also differ, but if they differ, like if we're talking about this RPM, it won't be too different from some other device type. It will most likely be called RPM, okay? First question was what data the device is currently sending. Where is this device? It's on my account. It's already sending some data that I can check. How do I check it exactly? I open the unit properties, okay? So this is my device, okay? Now I open the sensors tab and I want to create my new sensor. Clicking the plus button, okay? Now every sensor that you create based on one of these parameters, okay? And you can see the field number 5 from the top. It's called parameter, and it has a red star. That means that this is obligatory. You have to indicate the parameter, okay? A requirement. So now I click on this parameter field and I see the list of the parameters that were ever reported by this device. So this is how you check which parameters are currently reported from the device. Does this list of parameters is the same list you see here? In 99% of cases, it is not the same as you see here. Because here we just telling you what the device can report, but we do not know how your device is configured and what data it's currently reporting. Maybe it's reporting just 3 parameters out of this 50. Maybe it's reporting all 50. We do not know, so we just decide to inform you about everything that is known. Sometimes this parameters tab is not on the device page. In this case, remember, we have more than 1,200 devices. In this case, please also email to our hardware department, hardware at gurtam.com, and ask them to provide a description for the parameters. So, or check it in the protocol. As I said, it's pretty much the same as the protocol of the device that you can request from the manufacturer. All right, so I think we answered both questions. First, we know what is currently reported from the device. Second, we know what can be reported, okay? And we read all the description of each parameter and we decide one by one. Do I need this acceleration parameter or not? How will I use it? How can I use it? Will my customers need it? Once you answer such question to yourself about each parameter, and again, if meaning is not very clear, ask for the support. Ask the support of the manufacturer of the device, what exactly this data means. How can I use it? Okay, and this decision should still be made by you, because sometimes less is better than more, and sometimes you just need a few sensors, a few parameters that will be used to inform your customers about the most critical data, to set up the notifications, to be used in reports, and so on. Okay, let's get back to the presentation, and let's see which sensors we selected for today's presentation to proceed with creation of sensors. Okay. So what we have here is the example list of parameters for demo OBD. It's a Xirgo OBD device. We decided to use 6 parameters today to create 6 sensors. First is ignition, IGN for ignition sensor, then mileage for mileage sensor, RPM for RPM engine speed sensor, BAT for battery voltage sensor, and vehicle underscore number for VIN sensor. And the last one, DTC, is for DTC sensor, also called trouble code. Just for a second, getting back to the parameters of this page, you can find each of it here. So IGN, ignition status, it tells you how it should be set up. Mileage, it tells you the description. So based on that information, I understood that that's what I need. Hope it all makes sense. And we going to the next topic, which finally tells you how to create a sensor. So before you create a sensor, you need to decide with which parameter you want to work. So for example, IGN, ignition, that's how we start. We selected it, then we should open unit properties, open sensor tab, and click plus button. We'll do it all in a second. So we did it already to check which data is forwarded by the device, remember? So it's an easy step. And then we will name sensor, and you can use any name of your choice. Then we select the type of sensor. Here it's important to learn type of sensors from Vialon manual. So we'll talk a little bit about it, but I recommend you to read that page of the manual and be sure you understand which type of sensor should be selected. Then you find selected parameter in the drop-down menu of parameter field. Remember how we checked which data is sent by the device? So that is this parameter field, and we'll start typing IG, and then we'll find this IGN parameter from the drop-down down menu. That's it. We click OK and save. Okay, so I hope you're ready to try. Going to the platform. Okay, let's do it from the beginning. So we click the range. We are on the monitoring panel, or we are on the units panel. Doesn't matter, but I'll use the monitoring panel. And I go to the unit properties by pressing the button range key. I open it. Then I open sensor tab. And then I press plus button to create new sensor. Second step, as you remember, we need to name the sensor. It can be absolutely any name. I will call it ignition. Okay. Next step, the step where I ask you to learn the type of sensors from the manual. Let's look at this type of sensors. They are divided by categories. Mileage type of sensors, digital type of sensors, gauges, engine, fuel, and other. Okay. What is an ignition sensor? What type of sensor it is? It is a digital type of sensor, and to be specific, it's called engine ignition sensor. So what are the digital type of sensor? Let's remember it for the future reference, when you work with any sensor that reports on or off values, then the sensor type should be digital. The most popular digital sensors are on the top. They're called engine ignition sensor, alarm trigger, like SOS button, sense on, off, so it's alarm trigger. Private mode, like is it private, business? Business is off, private is on. Real-time motion sensor, let's not cover it today. But then all other type of sensors will fall into category custom digital sensor. So any other sensor that reports on or off will be a custom digital. But engine ignition already have a specific type of sensor, so we'll select this engine ignition sensor. We want to do the custom digital. So we do it. Next step, select IGN. Okay, so even if I put IG, I see IGN is on the drop-down menu because it was already reported by the device, so I can select it from drop-down menu. That's it. The last step, click OK and save, and click OK and save. What we see here is that the sensor appeared in additional menu. Before we get back to the presentation and learn how to copy the sensor to other units, and actually let's proceed the plan. Let's quickly create a couple of more sensors. Going again to the sensors, press the new button, name our next sensor mileage. As you can see, sensor type is mileage sensor. It's selected because it's the most popular one. It's selected by default. So now our parameter, as you remember, it's called mileage. So I start typing it, select from the drop-down menu, click OK, done. Next one, number 3, RPM. Let's call it engine speed. Some people call it engine speed, not RPM. Sensor type. It's called engine reverse sensor. Right here, engine type of sensors category. Okay, I select it, and then RP, and here's our parameter RPM. Click OK, save. Next sensor, battery, BAT parameter. What is a battery? It's reported in voltage, and it falls in the category gorgeous. Okay, then we start typing BAT. We select the parameter from the drop-down menu and click OK. Easy, right? You need to do it just one time for one device type, then you can copy it all for other devices. 2 sensors left. Vehicle number is our next parameter, and it's a VIN number of this vehicle that can be detected for most of the OBD devices. So type of the sensor is custom sensor. Okay, why custom? Because it has a text, and any sensor that has a text value is always custom. You can make a note to yourself. Also, any sensor that reports you the percentages, the sensor type will be custom. Now, VIN, oh, I'm sorry, vehicle number is our parameter, so here it is, found, click OK. And the last, DTC code. Trouble codes. This sensor also contains the text parameter, so it also will be a custom sensor. DTC is right here. So if we select DTC, not DTC 1 or 2 or 3, in DTC parameter, you'll see all the DTC codes that were reported at once, and this is the best way. Now click OK, save. So we're making all of the sensors visible. This is the setting by default. We click OK, and we see all of the sensor values in additional menu. If you do not see these sensors in additional menu, let me show you the quick trick. You go to the user settings. top right corner. You open it and you find the section of user settings that's called show additional information about the unit. So this is an additional information of the unit that we're looking at. And here we decide, do we want to see sensors or not? Sensor values. Maybe we don't. Unit tooltip and work list. So I don't want to see sensors in the work list anymore. I click OK. I click on the icon to close additional menu and then open it. And there is no sensors. So maybe that's what you see because inside of the user settings, the sensors are not enabled. Okay, so showing you again how to enable it. Okay. Again, questions, they will be answered on YouTube channel. I already see we don't have time because we need to learn how to copy the sensors to other units. I open the unit properties. Okay. On the bottom left corner, I see two buttons, and I need to click the second one. It's called Export to File. This button allows to copy any settings of this unit to other units. Now, this is a very important topic, so we have this device selected by default. We want to copy sensors, so we don't want to copy all the settings, just some of them. So I click Ctrl-click to unselect all other settings. I click plus button to see which sensors do I want to copy. And if you want to copy all of them, just click the checkbox of sensors. If you want to copy all, but not, for example, not mileage, then don't select mileage. Now, I have two options here: to save the settings in the file and then import them to other units, like copy them to other units, or I can directly copy the sensors to other units, and we want to copy directly. So I'm selecting Export to Item, switching the mode to the item. And as you may notice, instead of seeing OK button, now I see Next button. When I click it, here's the next menu that is called Import from WP. The sensors were kind of like saved in virtual file, and now we are looking at them, and we just need to select to which units I want to copy them. Can I copy them for all units I have? Surely not. I need to copy them only to units that have the same device type. Okay, so I can use the filter device type and search Xirgo. Okay, Xirgo units are here. Then I select them. I select one unit, then I click the shift button, I'm holding it, and I'm selecting the last unit. So this way you can select multiple units. Also Ctrl plus click to select multiple items. You can follow this hint. And that's it. I click OK. Okay. And now if I go to any unit right here, sorry I didn't show it to you before, but before there was no sensors for these units. So Sensors tab. All sensors are here. I hope you believe me. The sensors were not there before. Okay. Even so, these 5 units are not connected to the system yet. You see, no messages. But once I connect them, all of this data will already be there. And here you will see the values of the sensors. All right. So we did create the sensors, we did copy the sensors to other units. You should do it only if you have units of the same device type. Here is the summary of what steps you need to follow, and you'll be able to download that presentation from YouTube channel. So if you need to save it for your future reference, please do it.